Let's stop pretending. You've heard the jokes, you've watched the clips, but most men, and even most women, still don't understand what squirting really is, what causes it, or why it's so deeply misunderstood. And a few have experienced it, but have no idea how they got there. Here's the truth: female ejaculation is not a myth. It's not magic. It's not a porn stunt. It's a neurological, emotional, and physical response that only happens when the body and the brain are in complete harmony. And if you want to be the man who unlocks that experience for her, not to prove something, but to create deeper intimacy, you need more than tricks. You need understanding. Today, we're breaking the silence. Here's what squirting really is, and the 5 techniques to help her experience it naturally and powerfully. Let's start with the science, because the myths are loud, but the truth is louder. Squirting, or female ejaculation, is a real physiological process. It's not urine, though it may contain traces of urea or creatinine because it passes through the urethra. What's released is fluid stored in the Skene's glands, often called the female prostate, which are located near the G spot. During arousal and deep stimulation, those glands swell and can release a clear or slightly milky fluid that's chemically closer to prostate fluid than to urine. So, why is there confusion? Because unlike male ejaculation, female release isn't always tied to orgasm, and it isn't always predictable. That's why even many women have never experienced it or aren't sure if they have. The truth is, most women can squirt, but their bodies have been conditioned to hold back culturally, sexually, even emotionally. Because for a woman to release at that level, she doesn't just need stimulation, she needs surrender. Squirting isn't about friction, it's about feeling safe enough to let go of control. That's why technique alone isn't enough. You could apply perfect pressure, hit the right spot, follow every tutorial, but if she's tense, disconnected, or trying to perform, it won't happen. Female ejaculation is part physical, but it's entirely neurological. It requires a calm, parasympathetic nervous system, what scientists call the rest and digest state. That means she must feel unjudged, unrushed, and fully in her body. When that happens, her body doesn't just react, it releases. The bladder empties, but not like peeing. This is a pressure buildup from the anterior vaginal wall. And when she lets go, it's not just fluid, it's emotion, memory, tension. That release can be powerful, tearful, even spiritual, because it bypasses the thinking mind and speaks directly to the nervous system. And that, why most men never see it. Not because it's rare, but because they've never created the conditions that allow it. This isn't about performance, it's about presence. If you want to be the man who helps her reach this level of release, stop chasing the reaction and start honoring the process. Because what you're unlocking isn't just liquid, it's liberation. If you think the G spot is a magic button you can just find and press, you've already missed the point. The G spot isn't a switch, it's a system. It's not about force, it's about finesse. Anatomically, the G spot is located about 1.5 to 2 inches inside the vaginal wall, toward the belly button. But it's not one exact spot. It's a zone made up of spongy tissue surrounding the urethral sponge and Skene's glands. When aroused, this area becomes engorged, thickening with blood and becoming sensitive to deep, firm, and rhythmic pressure. Now, here's where most men get it wrong. They attack, they rush, they go too hard, too fast, or think more friction equals more pleasure. But stimulation is not a race, it's a rhythm. And when it comes to the G spot, the magic isn't in the strength of your hands, it's in the sensitivity of your presence. You have to tune in. Listen with your fingers. Follow her breath, her sounds, her subtle shifts. Because this zone responds to consistency, not chaos. The most effective motion is a slow, firm, come here gesture using 1 or 2 fingers, curved toward the front wall of the vagina. But technique is only part of it. What matters more is the timing. You don't jump to the G spot cold. You start with external arousal, you build blood flow, you activate the mind. Only once her body is relaxed and open does this kind of deep stimulation feel pleasurable, not invasive. When done right, G spot stimulation can create a sense of pressure, almost like needing to pee. That's normal. In fact, that's often the edge just before release. If she's been conditioned to hold back, she might tighten or stop. That's your cue to slow down, not stop, but reassure, stay steady. Let her know she's safe. Because the urge to control is the very thing that blocks the release. This moment is where emotional connection meets physical mastery. It's not about giving her an orgasm. It's about creating an experience where she can surrender, knowing you're not there to conquer her body, but to meet her exactly where she is. That's the difference between stimulation and transformation. That's where intimacy begins. And that's how you unlock not just her G spot, but a part of her trust no one else has touched. You could have the perfect technique, the right rhythm, and all the anatomical knowledge in the world, but if she doesn't feel emotionally safe, she will never release. That's not opinion. That's biology. A woman's nervous system is the true gatekeeper of arousal. And if she senses judgment, pressure, or performance expectations, her body shuts down. Not out of rejection, but out of protection. This is what most men never understand. Female arousal is not linear. It's responsive. Her body doesn't respond to friction alone. It responds to the feeling of safety, of being fully seen, fully accepted, and completely unhurried. That's why a woman can enjoy intimacy with someone she likes, but still hold back, because trust doesn't live in the bedroom. It lives in the moments before it. Creating emotional safety means more than saying you're safe. It's in your energy. Do you make space for her feelings or do you rush them away? Do you ask how she feels or do you just assume she's ready? Do you look at her with presence or with expectation? These small things tell her whether she's free to surrender or if she has to perform. Neuroscience shows that safety activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest state. This system is essential for arousal, orgasm, and yes, squirting. If she's in a state of tension or anxiety, her body will literally block the release. It's not about willpower, it's about nervous system regulation. If she feels rushed, judged, or like she's supposed to squirt, it won't happen. Real men don't chase outcomes, they create environments. And the man who learns to slow down, hold space, breathe deeply, and focus more on her experience than his ego is the man she remembers. Emotional safety isn't soft, it's powerful. Because when a woman feels safe, her body stops protecting and starts expressing. That's when true surrender begins. So if you're serious about helping her access that level of release, don't just learn technique, learn patience, learn attunement, learn to hold space without needing to be the hero. Because she's not a performance, she's a person. And when she finally lets go in front of you, it won't just be a physical release. It'll be the purest form of trust she can offer. Most men miss it. Most men struggle to share fully and wholly. Most men miss it. So I want to take a moment to share some thoughts on what it means to be a physical release. It'll be the most fulfilling, most temperate, and most freeing for most of us. The subtle signs, the body language, the shifts in breath, in muscle tone, in sound. They're too focused on the goal, on did she come or is she going to squirt? But the truth is, her body always speaks first. If you're truly paying attention, you'll notice it long before the release ever happens. The question is, are you listening? There's a pattern to build up. It's not loud at first, it's internal. You'll feel her hips start to rock or stiffen, her breath becomes shorter, or sometimes pauses entirely. Her pelvic floor tenses. Her thighs may tremble. Her voice lowers, or she becomes quieter. These are not random. They are biological markers that her body is preparing for either orgasm or release. If you push too hard here, you'll break it. But if you hold her through it, you amplify it. Squirting isn't like pressing a button. It's a wave, and it begins with small contractions, ones she may not even be aware of. If you stay present, maintain rhythm, and give her the confidence that she doesn't need to rush or explain, the wave intensifies. But most men panic here. They get excited and speed up, thinking they need to finish the job. That pressure, it kills the moment. She doesn't need speed. She needs permission to keep feeling. This is where true skill separates men from boys. Boys chase reactions. Men read responses. A skilled lover learns to ride the signals, not overpower them. He doesn't need to be told what to do. He can feel it because he's not performing. He's connected. He notices when her hands grab tighter, when her breathing becomes more erratic, when she starts trying to hold back. And instead of asking, "Did you come?" he reassures, "You're doing amazing. Just let go." Those small phrases, spoken with calm authority, are more powerful than any move you could make with your hands because they tell her, "I'm here, I see you, I'm not going anywhere." That's what allows her to fully trust the wave, not because she's trying to squirt, but because she's allowed to feel everything without fear. The signs are always there, but only men who slow down, stay grounded, and lead with emotional intelligence will ever notice them. And when you do, you don't just witness her body releasing, you witness her walls collapsing in the best way. Let this sink in. If you're trying to make her squirt, you've already lost. Because the goal oriented mindset turns intimacy into performance, and performance kills connection. The most powerful experiences in intimacy don't come from trying harder. They come from slowing everything down. The female body doesn't respond to pressure, it responds to patience. From a neurochemical standpoint, slowing down triggers oxytocin, the bonding hormone. It calms the nervous system and deepens trust. It tells her she's not a project or a performance, she's a person being felt, not just touched. That shift in energy changes everything. When you slow down, you create space for the sensations to build. You give her brain time to process the pleasure instead of guarding against it. You make room for emotional release, not just physical reaction. That's what leads to powerful expressions like squirting, not friction, but freedom. Every time you pull back instead of push forward, you're signaling control, not force, but internal mastery. And when a man has that, she feels it. She feels him. She relaxes, she breathes, she opens in ways she didn't even know were possible. Because you're no longer trying to impress her, you're helping her unlock parts of herself she's never reached before. This journey isn't about ticking a box, it's about tuning into every moment. From the first kiss to the slow buildup to the deep, connected touch. When your energy says, "I'm not in a rush," her body responds by trusting. And trust is the foundation of every intense release. Whether it's an orgasm, a tear, or a wave of squirting that comes from somewhere far deeper than anatomy. So slow down, soften your ego, be present. Don't just focus on the outcome. Feel the experience. Because when you let go of needing her to respond a certain way, you create the space for her to respond more deeply than she ever has. That's not just technique, that's transformation. That's sex education elevated into art. And that's the difference between a man who touches her and one who unlocks her.